This episode has been brought to you by My Extraordinary Productions, now editing your films and demo reels. Click the link in the description to learn more. Hi everyone, I'm about to betray my fellow actor by giving away some actor red flags. Some of these I've noticed as an actor working with other actors, some of these I've noticed as a producer type who's hiring the actors for short indie projects. An actor's footage is supposed to be their highlight reel. It's edited, it is their most on-brand, best performing self. So if that looks bad, the live version probably is not going to be better. Next on the list is an actor who has obviously cheaped out somewhere, and obviously cheaping out can look like a lot of things. Sometimes it looks like having really, really terrible footage where you can't see the actor, you can't hear the actor either. It's just a video file of something. Now that is clearly not as common today as it used to be, which makes it even more of a red flag today. However, while we're on the topic of cheaping out on footage, it can also look like someone not having their demo reel on the actor's site I'm casting from, but instead having the demo reel on YouTube or Google Drive or something else and giving me a link. Another form of cheaping out is having a headshot that was very obviously taken on a cell phone or just very obviously was not professionally done. Another example of red flag from a footage is having the most recent clip in that demo reel or in that arsenal be 10 years old. Now, even though I just listed a lot of things, I also have a lot of exceptions to these particular red flags. So for example, if the most recent footage is over 10 years old, but the actor explains that they spent some time out of the country, or they had to take a break, or there was some family drama or a medical issue or something, then I am much more forgiving. If a famous clip is 10 plus years old, but it's not your most recent clip, your most recent clip was from within the last year or two, that's fine. It just means that your biggest thing was 10 years ago. And when it comes to being sent from whatever casting platform I'm using to a completely different platform, it can make sense if I'm asking for a very specific clip. If I'm asking for something like a clip of someone mountain climbing, it doesn't always make sense for them to post that on their Actors Access page. So it actually might make sense for that person to have that clip on a different site and say, here's my demo reel on the Actors Access site. Here is a clip of me mountain climbing on YouTube. Finally, if an actor is just starting out, so they haven't had time to amass all of the footage and reels and things, it can make sense for them to present their talent as it is. So maybe they record a monologue of themselves, or they record a scene that they did for class, or they even record an audition for someone else's project. The point is, there is a difference between cheaping out due to a lack of confidence and just being in a stage of your career where you are presenting what you can present in its best light. Moving away from the footage, an actor red flag could be when a submission note is incredibly long and incredibly irrelevant. If I just need someone who sings and plays guitar, I don't want to read a whole novel about how you fell in love with Juilliard's campus and were incredibly disappointed that you couldn't get in. I just want to know if you can play guitar or not. Usually it tells me that the person is very, very self-absorbed, and look, I'm self-absorbed enough. I don't need... Once we get away from the actor profiles, I may check an actor's social media accounts, and sometimes I may get a sense that maybe we're both decent people, but we're two decent people who are just not going to get along very well. In which case, I don't want to hire this person, and it's nothing against them, it's just I don't want to have stupid arguments. Then, there is the much more obvious and much more concrete red flag, where I'll notice an actor consistently complain about every single production they've ever been a part of, or every single director they've ever worked with, and I'm vain, I want to look good, so I don't want to hire someone who is going to trash me later. After social media, I may choose to email, call, maybe even text these actors just to talk to them about, the audition process or what would be expected in the shoot. And our correspondence can tell me a lot. First of all, if an actor completely ignores every single message, well, They clearly don't want to be bothered. At least that's how I perceive it. If an actor takes forever to respond to something, it can mean that they're not really interested, or it can mean that the way they perceive time and the way I perceive time are going to be completely at odds with each other. Plus, this is ignoring the fact that I may be sending super time-sensitive information, like a sudden change of location or a sudden change of time. One time while trying to do self-tape auditions, an actor asked me how to operate his camera, and while I was able to help, one, that's not always a guarantee, but two, it did not inspire confidence. This video was partially sponsored by Become an Instagram Mod, teaching seniors social media and computer technology. Click the link in the description to learn more. Now, sometimes while corresponding with actors, they will be downright rude to me. They will tell me that my equipment is terrible or that I'm very obviously filming in someone's house or something like that. It's not necessarily that these actors were wrong in their assertions that my equipment could have used an upgrade at the time and that I tend to film a lot of things in a house, but there's a difference between saying your camera is terrible and saying, hey, I really like a lot of your writing, but I think you could use an equipment upgrade to do your writing justice. If you'd like, I have access to this fancy camera. One of those people is trying a lot harder to help, and that's the person I want on my team. Two other viable options include not bringing it up at all and not auditioning for the project because you're no longer interested. The final actor red flag is someone who is more passionate about my project than I am. When someone is more passionate about my project than I am, it usually leads to one of two outcomes. The first being that they ultimately flake, which implies that they were acting like they were interested. That was the real role, and the other thing was just an optional thing that they could have been in that would have been filmed. What happens a lot more of the time is that their drama becomes my drama, and they have a lot of it. My favorite one, though, was the time someone tried to take over my shoot so that they could have their own personal agenda, trying to get some bill passed or some proposition passed. I completely agreed politically with them. It's just the fact that this was not the place for that. Like, it quite literally was not the story I wanted to tell. Like, I had a script and everything. You could have read it. Now, this is the last red flag in the list, but it is also the most obvious and the one that you have the least control over. Now, our final red flag is when I talk to a friend and they say something like, "Oh, I know Sarah." Stay away. Sorry, I'm gonna trust my friend over that, Sarah. Now that we've gone over so many red flags, let's go over some green flags, which are the things you want to see in your actors. The first thing is a viewable track record. They've got an awesome demo reel, a website, their social media is pristine, everything looks like this person takes their career seriously, and they really enjoy the process. Speaking of social media, it's a green flag when they don't spoil any of the content and they don't bash anyone they've worked with. That's what I'm looking for when I say I want to see a professional media presence. An added bonus is if this person has a substantial following. It's not mandatory, but, you know, if I can get my thing in front of a few extra eyes, that really helps. Another green flag is when an actor is leaving a note on an audition submission and it is very short and very relevant. Tells me that you can just answer a question. Another green flag is when an actor comes to an audition on time, or they send in their video audition on time, and they take direction very well. Also, if an actor asks really good, well thought out questions, that can also be a green flag. The final actor green flag is when I'm talking to a friend and they say something like, "Oh, Katie submitted? Oh, I love Katie. Katie is so awesome to work with." Thank you so much for watching this video. Please be sure to leave your questions in the comments below. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel. Hopefully this helped one of you out. Follow me on social media, and I will see you all next time.